Hi everyone, I wanted to show you the journal I just got done. It is my Montana Steampunk journal, and I am so pleased how it turned out. It was a lot of fun putting this guy together. I'm just going to do a flip through. Hopefully it will be quick so you guys can get on to the rest of your life. But inside it ended up being a lot chunkier than I expected. Just like most of our journals, it's kind of like soup. You add a little this, a little that, and the next thing you know, you have enough soup to feed an army. And the same thing happened with this journal. It just got really fat on me, but I kind of went through to see if there's something that I could take out, and there's nothing. Everything has to stay in here, so it's just going to have to be busting at the seams. I got a couple little dangles here on the outside. Oh, I think there's one more. Here it is. Little state of Montana. Did some messy stitching on the front. I used Tim Holt's gear thinlets and his plates, and these little charms on the side are little findings from Michael's. But they were just appropriate. Alright, I'm going to try to show you this. Like I said, it's really fat, so I don't know how it's going to be with me holding the pages. In here, I used a lot of my images that I took throughout my husband's and my travels around Montana. That's where we live, and fortunately we are blessed to live not too far from the mountains and the prairies and the rivers. So I got to implement those photos, which I always think is a win-win for me, because it puts a little bit of my memories into each and every book that I make. On the front, some messy stitching, some cute little printouts that I found on Pinterest, and I did use some digital kits through here, several actually, just little tidbits here and there. I got to use Ephemera Vintage Garden, and let me get my little notes here. I used the Steampunk Voyage, Gentleman's Scholars, both the 1 and 2, and also Steamtown Spring from Ephemera Vintage Garden. And then I used Mine Verity, Steampunk, Stacy Stories, a grunge steampunk, and then a gal called Love Junk Journals and her steampunk digital kits that I used. So you might recognize something that you've seen before. Here is a sculpture of a bison. Isn't that magnificent? Oh my gosh. I used to be a welder. That's what I did as a profession to pay off my schooling, which was fish and wildlife management. So anything with metal, it just draws me in. I always look at the welds and the fabrication involved, but I was able to find some of those in here. For here, little map of Montana. I made this for a friend of mine, and what she had requested was a Montana Steampunk journal. So the maps on the signatures, there's 5 signatures. I guess I should tell you that. I don't know if you've heard of Ted's Bar and Grill, Ted Turner's restaurants. Well, when you go to the restaurants, they put down this paper on the table, butcher's paper, and it is the map of the Rocky Mountains. So I've sewn those together, and that's what I used for each front signatures. So I'm going to get through here. I did get to do a little bit of stamping in here. Here's a little tuck spot with some different ephemera that, like I said, I printed out either from those digital kits or that I just snagged from Pinterest. I used a little bit of chains and gears, anything that I could find in my little stash to make it more interesting. This is pretty cool. Montana Rockies. I turn that one into a little pocket. This is like kind of hard to handle, so please forgive me while I flip through here. I might have to just stick these in afterwards, but I'll give it a go. See if they'll work. Here we go. I found this on Pinterest, which I was pretty excited. Montana Steampunk Ball. I've never been. I'm gonna have to check that out. Who knew? Since Montana has lots of wildlife, I made sure I found little critters throughout. This is the center of the signature with a little printout in there. All my papers are tea dyed, and all my little things that I put in to decorate are just random here and there stuff that I've had. Here is another image that I took out in Winnett, Montana when my husband and I were out pheasant hunting. And it's on an envelope, and so there's a little tuck spot up in the top here. Little glasses. Lots of ephemera. Like I said, there's lots of room, or maybe I didn't say that, but there's lots of room for writing. I really didn't want to put too much stuff on the writing spaces. This is one of my photos I took over in Three Forks, which isn't too far from where I live. I live in Bozeman. There is a vet office, and this was out front of it. Isn't that cool? I just love it. To be able to put that in this journal too, it just made it more fun. Another little Montana ephemera there. Enjoy the journey. Another little envelope. That one is pretty cool. And all of them have a top loading pocket there. Isn't that cute? Here's another image. One of my friends from Ohio came out this summer, and we took her through Yellowstone, and we kind of go off the beaten path, and we found so many elk antlers and a bison head, and this is one of the images that we took from our trip that day. We watched my husband fish while he was fishing. She and I were sipping some whiskey along the river and just checking out the beauty that Yellowstone had to offer. Here's another little pocket with more steampunk ephemera. Little pocket here. That's pretty cool. That was from Pinterest. This was such a fun journal to make for my friend. Lots of ephemera. It's probably overkill, but like I said, I tried to think about what I could take out, and everything belongs in here, so I can't. This little term here, for my birthday, my friend paid for us to go downtown in Bozeman, and it was a gin and jewelry making night at the bar, and so we made these. It was a necklace and 2 earrings, and I wasn't totally pleased how they turned out. Had nothing to do with the instructor, it had everything to do with me, but I, of course, can't throw anything out, and I thought it was appropriate for this, to use it in this journal here. One of those digital printouts. Got to use some washi tape. Here's some more cute ephemera. Here's the other part of that jewelry piece that I made. I just turned it into a little paper clip with more ephemera inside this pocket. Oh, here's another image of mine. I call this Big, Bad, and Ugly. Those bison are from the Ted Turner's ranch, which is maybe only, I'd say 7 miles from our house. I thought that was kind of fun. And this metal thing, our area code in Montana is 406. Yes, it's missing a 0, but I thought that was kind of cool. I had to use it. Moose in a tin can. More ephemera. Yeah, this, like I said, was a lot of fun to put together. And I had so many ideas, and then it was starting getting too fat. So I guess when I made this, I should have thought about making 2, because what didn't work in one could have worked in another, in theory. That one probably would have ended up super fat as well. Montana trains. And this pretty tag, this is from one of those print-offs. And so was that little visual kit. This is from the Booth Ranch, which is near Colstrip, Montana. We were invited to go turkey hunting down there, and I found this tractor out in the field and took lots of pictures of that, and it was so beautiful that night. I don't know if you can see the sunset is happening. It's kind of magical. Magical things were happening right then. Okay. Let's flip through here. I'm so glad you guys stopped by to take a peek at this. This is taken also at the Flying D Ranch, which belongs to Ted Turner, which is right down the road. My husband took this picture, and I don't know if you can see, I'm going to make it get a little bit closer, but this is a bull elk running down the hill, and the trees are turning colors back here. It's just beautiful that time of the year. Well, I have to say, every time of year, even right now with all the snow on the ground, a little pocket with gears and other little knickknacks there. And I love this topo map that I got from that restaurant. It's just really cool. I have a huge roll of it. I was so fortunate. I used to just go in and ask, and finally I just said, how much would it cost to get a whole roll of that butcher paper? And the guy gave it to me. Just ginormous. My friends, Brenda and Gail, when I showed it to them, they just started laughing like it's ridiculous how much it is. I love how this one turned out. Here's another sculpture made out of metalworks. I don't know if that is from Montana or not. Oh, maybe I'm not focused right. But I just had to implement that in this journal. More ephemera in here. And those print-offs, and I will have those linked below the video so you can find them and play with them. You're going to love how they print out. I don't know if you can tell, but they just always print out so beautifully. And I printed this on my paper that I had already tea-dyed this summer, and I used a paper press and press them all together, and it just feeds through my printer, which is quite picky most times, without any problems. So, just thought you guys should know that. Kind of cute little pocket there. This is another photo I took. Is from Win It when we go deer hunting. My husband used to work on this ranch years ago, and I love this page. It just kind of, I don't know, I love it. I made the barbed wire fencing here. Let's see if I can put a little weight so I don't lose my spot. Out of this juke, and I twisted up and put some glossy accents on it so it holds the twist in the barbed wire. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of cool. Does it look real? This one made me squeal with delight when I did it. I'm like, oh, okay, this one's fun. But it doesn't take much to make me happy. Here's another top-loading envelope. Little tuck spot. Kind of cute. Mechanical bug there, little beetle. Little center of my signature. Another little tuck spot. This is headed out to win it, and a big storm was coming about. We're near Big Timber, Montana, and I don't know if you know this about Montana, but it's big sky country, and you can just see for miles and miles. I have a little charm that dangles on here, and that's part of that topo map butcher paper I have. Kind of fun. Here's another metal sculpture, and this is not in Montana, but I had to include it. Oh, Montana map, a little spot with some scrap tea-dyed paper with coffee splatters, a little charm that dangles. Coming to the end here, little side tuck spot with the print offs. And our very last page. And I'm quite the fisherwoman, so I had to put a little fish on there. Isn't that adorable? Steampunk fisher chick with a little tuck spot. Well, that is it. Let's see, did I show you? Maybe I didn't. I didn't take this all the way out. I just kind of made this 3D, this little image in the stamps, but not that they need to be shown. I just did a simple wrap around just because this was fat. I had different ideas of barbed wire fence wrapped around it, but I didn't want to make it too gaudy. So this is all I did. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for the lovely comments and for you just stopping by and taking the time to look at this journal. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask and I will answer them, I promise you. All right, so warmest of wishes to all of you, and have a beautiful day. Bye.